Hello, my name is Vincent from Airgunseurope.com, and in this video I'd like to show you the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup, which is a really compact, fully automatic PCP rifle made by the Hatsan company from Turkey. Now, the story of the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup originates a few years ago with the first semi-automatic versions. They started off with the Hatsan Invader, the Hatsan Sortie. There was the Galatian 5 auto, and this was the 6 auto with the synthetic stock. They had this in the wooden stock as well. And these were the first semi-automatic rifles they made from the Hatsan company. They used their own air to repeat themselves and then placing a new pellet inside of the barrel. A really fun air rifle at the time. We still sell quite a lot of these today, but then in 2020 they started making a fully automatic air rifle. It's got the same basic principles in how it works, but the nice thing about this air rifle was that it had a way larger air capacity, because this one had a 580 cc's air tank instead of a 250, and the maximum fill pressure was higher as well, because those models you could fill to 200 bar and these ones you could fill up to 250 bar, giving you way more shots. Also, the rifle was more powerful than the normal versions, which could only shoot semi-automatic, and thus the Hatsan Blitz was born. This one, really popular air rifle still today, had a carry handle on top, which contained open sights in it. Now, there is also a way to mount like a scope. You could take the rail off, you could mount a red dot scope on here as well, because it's around 22 millimeters as well. But if you would take the carry handle off, beneath there it had the dual rail, which is quite common with Hatsan air rifles. So you can mount like 11mm dovetail mounts on there, but also the 22mm Picatinny mount, so you could mount a scope or a red dot. Now, this rifle also had a fun switch on which you can put it on safety or fully automatic. So this was the first fully automatic air rifle they ever made from Hatsan. It was quite long, however, and then of course they started producing a shorter version of the rifle with the same specs with power, which was the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup. Now, this is our most popular model if you would compare it with the normal Hatsan Blitz. Why? Because it is way more compact. It still weighs around 4 kilograms, but it's way shorter, but it's got the same barrel length. They just placed it more backwards, so the magazine will go in here instead of somewhere over there. Now, this rifle is around 90 centimeters long, 36 inches for you guys, weighs around 4 kilograms, so still quite heavy and robust, but it's easier to handle. It's got a rail up here, a 22mm Picatinny rail. Now, you could mount like a bipod on there, you could also mount like a grip or anything you would prefer really, a flashlight, a laser. On top it's got the same dual rail, so it's got the dovetail rail and it's got the 22mm Picatinny rail. A downside, it hasn't got any open sights like the normal Hatsan Blitz had, of course, but most people, they just tend to use it with like, let's say, a red dot or a scope like I mounted on this one. This is a low magnification scope, giving you quite a wide angle, and this is really nice if you would want to use it just for backyard plinking and shooting as fast as you can, basically. The power specs with the normal Hatsan Blitz and the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup are exactly the same. Also, they come in 3 calibers like the Hatsan Blitz. We have them in 22, 5.5mm, 6.35 or the 7.62. The most popular model, of course, is the 7.62. Why? Because it has more muzzle energy, and of course it is a fun rifle just to use it for backyard plinking, and you would want lots of impact to do that. They come with 3 magazines. Now, of course, the magazines, they contain more shots with a smaller caliber. If you would have it in 5.5, it has 21 shots. In the 6.35 it has 19 shots, and in the 7.62 it has 16 shots, which is still quite high for a 7.62mm air rifle, of course. The muzzle joule, the muzzle energy of this air rifle in 7.62 is 72 joules. If you would have it in 6.35, 56, and in 5.5, 22, it has 49 joules of muzzle energy, which of course still is quite high. Now, when you would take this out of the box, it comes in your standard Hatsan box, your cardboard box, of course. Comes with a manual. Also, it contains a small white box like this one. And inside here you can find the Hatsan fill probe, which is quite standard for a Hatsan air rifle. You could just plug this in. It's got the 1/8 thread on there, which you can connect to your DIN diver bottle set or perhaps to a compressor. Remember then, with the compressors, they usually tend to have like a Foster connector. So you would need a small adapter to connect this to the Foster adapter on the compressor, but those are really easy to come by. We have those in stock as well. This one's inserted with the normal Hatsan Blitz over there, and with the Blitz Bullpup also up here. It has got a dust cover. You could just push that one out with the Hatsan fill probe, push it all the way in. The meter is below on the air rifle. Now, like I said, it has a maximum fill pressure of 250 bar, and then you would shoot it back until it reaches around 100 bar, and then you would refill it again. That's its good operating pressure. So as long as you would keep it inside of the green, then you're all good. Now, especially the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup is really popular in the United States because they can't seem to get it over there, because yeah, they only have the normal Hatsan Bullpup. Well, that is when making this video. We've shipped quite a lot of these to the US because they can't get it. And before we do ship a rifle like this to the United States, it is quite important to know that we always fill it with air, we test it, and then we degas it. And to degas it, below the meter there is a screw, and if you would turn that open, it degases the pressure which is inside of the tank. That's mainly because of the fact that they come in by airplane, of course, and it's not really good idea to fill this to 250 bar and ship it by plane, of course. So that's the reason why we degas it. The reason why we always fill it, because sometimes it happens that the O-rings has to get seated a bit first, so then it will bleed out a little bit. So then that's why we always fill it, test it, and then degas it, so you are 100% sure that when you get it, it should work when you fill it, of course. Now, the air rifle, just like the normal Hatsan Blitz, it's got a safety up here. If you push it up front, it's ready to go. Now you could adjust the grip a little bit, placing it a little bit more backward or forward, depending on how long your fingers are and where you would want the trigger to reach your finger, of course. On this side of the air rifle, there is the fire selector. You could place this on semi-automatic or push it forward and put it on fully automatic as well. It's got quite a high fire rate. It shoots around 1100 pellets a minute. So it takes you less than a second to dump the whole magazine of 16 shots with this air rifle. But you could also just use it semi-automatic, of course, and then take a little bit longer. Now, it comes with 3 magazines. Like I said, in 7.62, this contains 16 shots. This one is quite easy to load. You just open up the lid. With your hand, you could wind the spring, which is beneath the red cover. Place a pellet in there and load all the other chambers. And then, once you're done, closing the lid again. And if you cock the bolt back, which I already done, there's a lid up here, which holds the magazine in place. And you would just have to place it in there. And then once you push the bolt down, it would place a pellet inside of the barrel, and then you could shoot, of course. Now, as you can see right now, it doesn't go forward at all because basically the magazine is empty. So if it only goes so far, you know that it's empty. With a full magazine, of course, it will go forward. Now, remember, with this air rifle, the first time you would click it down and let it go forward, you would have to help it a little bit. Only with the first shot, help it a little bit so that you know that the pellet is all the way in and it's seated perfectly. And then once you shoot, it will repeat. I could do that without the magazine. So it places in there, and then there is semi-automatic. Every time I pull the trigger, you could take a look at the bolt goes back. And that's a really nice system. It repeats itself, and then you could go shooting like this as fast as you can, basically. It's the same with the fully automatic version. It's really fast shooting. Pretty nice air rifle. Pretty heavy, rugged, well made, of course. The shroud, which is on top of along the barrel, it works a little bit as a silencer, but it's not a real silencer or moderator. Now, we do get quite a lot of questions from people that want to mount like an extra silencer on there. There is, of course, a company called Donny FL. They make adapters for them, but the ones we've seen, then they would create the proper thread, half UNF, to mount the silencer, but then it doesn't function as more as a semi or fully automatic PSP rifle, and then you would have to cock it by every shot, taking it backward, by every shot. So not really a good option if you want to buy a semi or fully automatic air rifle, use it with a silencer and then only shoot like manual one at a time. So that's the reason why we don't sell that for now. Maybe that changes in the future if they do work. On the left side of the air rifle, with the fire selector being over here, there's also this thing. This is a small wrench. If you take this off, these are being used to wind the magazine, because at the back end of the magazine you can see the bolt here. Place it on there and then it's easier to rotate it to the next chamber. To my opinion, it's not a really necessary tool. It comes on the air rifle, but with the normal magazines being so easy to load with just one, or with two hands of course, but you could do it without this model. That does changes, however, if you would go for the high capacity magazines. This is quite a new item. They introduced this last year, and these are the even larger magazines. We have these in all calibers as well, from 5.5 up until 7.62. And because of course this is way more heavy to rotate, with just using your hands, you could place this at the back and then it's way easier. But with the normal magazines, you don't really have to use this one. But of course it comes with the air rifle, same with the normal Hatsan Blitz. Yeah, it works. It's got an adjustable shoulder piece, it's got an adjustable cheek piece as well. It's got the dual rail on it, and yeah, I think it's time to take it to a range and test fire it. Okay, so we're down at a little range ready to test fire the Hatsan Blitz Bullpup. I filled it. Now to place the magazine, which I already loaded with 16 shots, I would have to pull the bolt back all the way, cocking the air rifle. Then when you push this lid down, you could just simply place it in there until it can't go any further, just like this. And when letting this go down, it places a pellet inside of the barrel. Now remember, like I said, always push it a bit further the first time, and after firing it automatically repeats, of course. Now it's got the switch on there, it's on safety right now. Oh, sorry, it's single shot, that's what I wanted to say. The safety is up here. This is the safety, but it's a manual one, so it hasn't got any automatic safety. Now the pellets I'm using today are the JSB Exact, really high quality pellets. You could buy cheaper pellets as well from Snow Peak or Apollo. They tend to work really well in this air rifle. Now of course there's a whole variety of pellets and slugs. I really don't suggest using slugs for this, because the barrels are a little bit choked and they just don't tend to shoot that well in Hatsan air rifles. With pellets, all the pellets that we have, they do fit, but in the 7.62mm, don't use the Predator Polymac, because of the point, it's a little bit too long for the magazine of this air rifle. Alright, now let's give it a try. It's on single semi-automatic right now. And now of course for the fun switch, put it on fully auto, see how fast that goes. Well, pretty fast, because magazine's empty already. Stops by itself because the bolt will hit the last chamber, won't go forward, and then you just know it's empty. Place a new magazine and yeah, go on as long as you want, basically. Really popular air rifle. If you're interested in this air rifle, now like I said, we've been shipping across Europe for years, but now we also ship to countries like Australia, New Zealand and the US. Not a problem. If your country is not on our shipping list on the website, please contact us. If you have any questions about this air rifle or any other, feel free to contact us, of course. You could subscribe to this YouTube channel for even more YouTube videos about air rifles, of course. And for now, thank you for watching.